Did you get it? Oh, Aubrey has gone mute. Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome, welcome. We're going to give everyone just a minute or so, get everyone situated inside. Looking forward to this class. If you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to use the chat. If you're on the replay, obviously you can just comment below or obviously DM me personally. No problems there. So we're just going to give everyone just a few more moments before we get started. I see Aubrey is here. So hello. How are you? How's your day going? Also, let me know what time is good for you guys. This is the first class that I'm teaching. And obviously being on the West Coast, I'm a little bit, off on the times. I'm at 3:30 right now and you guys are at 6:30. I know that usually it's probably around dinner time. So if we need to start later, let me know and we will do that. Let's see here. I am good, Aubrey. Thank you. It's been an odd day. I feel like it's been an odd day for me too. I don't know why. My dogs keep barking at everything. I think they're doing something outside the apartment. So my dogs keep barking. So if you hear them in the background, if you've watched any of my videos before, you already know the drill. All right. Let's see here. So we are going to go ahead and get started. And then again, if anyone jumps in, awesome. If you're on the replay, even better. Sounds good. So what are we doing here today? What are we talking about? It is dieting. All right. We are talking about dieting. Why is it so hard? Why isn't it working? And why is it the worst? I hate the word dieting. Hate it with a passion. A diet is what you eat. We're going to go into that later, but dieting is what you eat. But everyone goes, dieting is how you lose weight, right? So I hate the word diet. It's terrible, but we're going to get into that. Okay. So you're probably wondering, well, who are you? Who are you to tell me about dieting? So my name is Tammy. For those of you who don't know me, I am based right now out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I have been studying nutrition and dietetics for about 10 years officially. When it comes to, I've actually been doing it for a lot longer, but 10 years officially, like in depth. My research before the 10-year mark was basically reading like women's health magazines and literally like every little thing they used to say, I would just gobble it up. Oh yeah, that's the only reason I started eating onions is because someone told me that it was like great for cellulite. So I was like, oh, okay. Which is going into diet culture, which is another thing we're going to talk about. My primary focus at Red Jasper is on women over 30 who are trying to lose weight while healing their relationship with food and diet culture. It is obviously something that everybody can use. I just know, obviously, personally as a woman, diet culture has been shoved down my throat for years and years and years. It has definitely been something that has been hard to give up and hard to get rid of. And I fight with it to this day, right? Trying to get out of that mindset of I don't look a certain way and like looking at someone else and going, oh, I wish I looked like her, things like that. Like, I think we've all been there, men, women, children. It's been into our system for so long, and it's so harmful. It's so much more harmful than I think we realize. So why am I so passionate about food medicine? Well, it all started when my dad passed away back in 2001 from diabetes. And he had told me that he would have rather, lived to be 80 years old and, eating whatever he wanted than to live to be 110 being healthy. And, unfortunately, right after that was when things had taken a turn and he passed away about a year later. And it's honestly, it's a common thing for people who are unhealthy. They kind of feel like, well, I'm already in this boat, so screw it. Like, I'm just going to stay here. Um, and what they don't realize is how fast it could take a turn, right? So after I lost my dad to diabetes, I started, really looking at, wow, food really can change things, And then not too long after that, just a few years after that, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that's when my real, like, okay, enough's enough. I got to take a look at this. And that's when, like, like what was it? The Women's World. They're like this big little magazines that you would get at the grocery store. My mom would buy them, and I would like scour through and I'd look. And then I went to like Cosmo and Women's Health, and we know how those go. So, which is why I don't really count it as my studies. But it was like, wow, breast cancer runs in families. And so what's the chance I'm going to get it? Pretty good, right? So what can I do to possibly make myself stronger in order to maybe fight it off? And then it wasn't until 10 years ago when my mom was diagnosed with diabetes. And after losing my dad to diabetes, like that was kind of like a panic moment. And, I decided that this is it. This is what I have to do. And then I got my own diagnosis with some digestive issues, which I have taken care of when it comes to using food as a medicine instead. So, which is in my About Me for Instagram. I'm not going to go into all of the details, but but that's why I'm so passionate about using food as a medication, because it works. It works. But at the same time, you don't want to sit there and like give up everything. You don't want to give up going out and having fun and eating all the things that you really, really enjoy, which is why I'm here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So my first question is, how many of you are here for the sole purpose to lose weight? When you joined either the Facebook group or started following me, or even just clicked on, oh, interesting class, I'll take this. What is it about it that screamed, to you, it was like, all right, cool, I'm here to lose weight, let's go, right? When we look at how many people, sorry, move this chat over so I could read it in case anyone talks. But when we sit there and think of a healthy lifestyle, the first thing we think of, well, I got to lose 20 pounds. I'm not healthy unless I lose 20 pounds. I don't know why it's always 20. It's so funny to me. But, how many of us are here to do that? Unfortunately, because of the way we have been taught, how diet culture has taught us to look at things. You're not healthy unless you're skinny. You're not this unless you're a certain weight. If you're over this BMI, you must be terrible. It's just not true. And the problem is that we fall into this cycle of dieting and trying to lose all this weight, only for us to just fall headfirst off that wagon. It's actually been said like 45 million Americans go on a diet each year. 45 million Americans. But then if you look at the news, it says that there's an obesity crisis. Well, if 45 million Americans are on a diet, why are we in an obesity crisis? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously diets aren't working. And it's actually been proven. I think this study was back in 95, that diets don't work. They just don't. And there's a ton of reasons for it, which we're getting into. But if 45 million Americans are going on a diet each year, why are we all still the way we are? You know what I'm saying? So if you look, there's many reasons that dieting is pushed down our throats over and over and over and over and over again, right? So I just said diet books, right? Diet cookbooks, diet books, books on dieting, whatever words you want to search. And this is a screenshot of the first, was at 369 that popped up. 42 more are listed underneath that. 42 just for 2022. Like, there are so many resources out there this is the diet you should be on. Eat your carbs, don't eat your carbs, block sugar, don't block sugar. What are you supposed to do? How many things are you supposed to be doing to keep up with and try and be like, oh, this is what I have to do to lose weight? And then you realize it doesn't work, right? We spend $33 billion each year on weight loss products. $33 billion. Yet we still have an obesity crisis. Like something's not right, right? I've held these two cards to show people. I was addressed by two different individuals on some business cards. I blocked out their information because I'm not trying to shame the people who are trying to sell this stuff, right? But it's these products, these lose weight fast, get skinny in 10 days, oh, just drink this juice and it'll work. This one, the TLC, I actually went on their website because I was looking at their products. And what stood out to me is they were charging $60 for a box of tea. It was dandelion tea. You can literally get it Vitamin Shop for $4. I had some. And you know what dandelion tea does? It's a diuretic. Try to screw up those two words. Just makes you pee. It makes you lose water weight. And so they're going to charge you $60 for that. And people will spend it because people are desperate to fit in this mold, fit into this box that we keep putting out there. $33 billion. If you've watched any of my cooking classes, I've made comments about the marketing that people do, right? They sell things like, oh, keto friendly pasta, and oh, this is paleo friendly, and they even do it plant-based now. I joke around about the fact that a friend of mine posted a picture of a bag of potatoes that said plant-based potatoes. And I'm like, no shit. It's a potato, right? It's a marketing scheme. And we fall for it. I fall for it. I'm just as guilty. You sit there and you look at it and you're just like, oh, wow, this is what I got to do. I remember someone making a comment about, oh, my grocery store has a paleo section. And a friend of mine said, you mean the meat and produce department? Because that's what paleo is. But we fall into those traps of like, oh, I need this special pasta because it's going to help me lose weight. But it's not. It's just not. So what are diets versus fads, right? So what are the difference? So a diet is the kind of foods that a person, animal, or community habitually eats, right? A vegetarian diet would be considered that. That is not a diet that's going to make you lose weight. Vegetarianism is a lifestyle, right? So, but it's a diet in the terms of that's what a person eats. What's a fad diet though? A fad diet is a special, is a diet that becomes popular for a short time. Okay. It's a very short time, similar to fads in fashion, without being a standard dietary recommendation, and often making unreasonable claims for fast weight loss or health improvements. And there's no single definition. So things like keto is a fad diet, right? It is, you're going to lose weight automatically. And you will lose weight on keto. But how do you come off of it? You never eat carbs again? Are you crazy? Carbs are delicious. It's not sustainable. Things that are not sustainable, and they promise you this, I keep saying, wanting to say get rich quick theme, but these make these claims that are like, oh, we're going to lose weight like that. You're just going to gain it right back like that. So how is that sustainable? People who go on these extreme diets, they end up like hurting their insides, right? Like if you cut carbs completely and you don't work their way back in, right, and you don't do the steps that you need to take to start incorporating that stuff back into your everyday diet, you gain it back really quick. And your liver is like, what just happened? Now I have to process all this stuff. Your pancreas, it's not had sugar, and all of a sudden it's got like, I got to process all this sugar again. And we start to hurt ourselves after a while. So when I speak of diet, like to you guys in the group, that's what I mean. It's what we eat For me, I'm on a whole food plant-based diet. It's not veganism, right? Veganism is a lifestyle. Um, Vegetarian is probably the closest thing that we're going to call it, but it's not because it's a fad. It's what I eat every day, all the time. Um, so those are the differences there. And that's something I think is very important to point out. So here's my next question. How many diets have you been on? Have you been on keto? Have you tried to be a paleo? Have you tried, I remember my mom doing the cabbage diet for a long time there in the mid 90s, which tasted really good after you added like ground beef to it, like, which is not a part of the whole thing. You know, how many of you have tried oh, I'm going to drink a glass of water with lemon and cayenne pepper in it. That's my breakfast. Or putting in, Atkins, even things like Noom and Weight Watchers. Those are considered diets, right? How many of you been on that? What worked? What didn't? These are some questions that you should ask yourself, because if they're not working, why do you keep doing them, right? What's the saying? That insanity is, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So why do we keep doing it? It's because we're searching for the, we need to be skinny, to be healthy, right? So according to livestrong.com, about 20% of people are successful at maintaining their weight loss over long term. That's at least 1 year. 20% of people, that's not bad. But 80% of people are not successful at keeping their weight off for at least a year. 80%. So what are we doing? Why do we keep doing it? Why is it not working? I'll show you. So dieting comes with restriction, right? And I keep bringing up keto because I think that's like the most popular one right now. But restriction, right? You're restricting carbs. You're not allowed to eat carbs. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. So then you're great. That first day, you're like, I'm on it. You're like, gung ho, let's do this. I'm killing it. Food tastes good. You're feeling great. Then the weekend comes and your friends invite you out, and they're at, some restaurant, and there's, a French fry. And all of a sudden you're like, I've been so good all week. Like, just one little French fry, it's not going to hurt, right? You eat that French fry and it triggers. And all of a sudden, one French fry turns into 2, which turns into 10. Then you're eating a whole basket. Well, I've been good so all week, right? I can binge. I can have this time, right? The next day, or even an hour afterwards, all of a sudden you hit that guilt cycle, right? I can't believe I did that. All my hard work. I'm going to have to go to the gym for so much longer now. How many push-ups push-ups am I going to have to do? How many miles am I going to have to run just to make up the fact that you were on that you did that you binged, right? Comes with these feelings of, guilt. And have I been there. It's bad. It's so bad, that guilty feeling just to enjoy some food. What? That's ridiculous, right? But we get into that. So then that feeling of guilt goes and follows back into restriction. It's okay. Okay, that's fine. Monday's a new day, right? Monday, we're going to do it. I got this down pat. Then Monday comes and you're gung ho again. You restrict, only to find yourself binge eating a bowl of ice cream, or chewing, taking like chicken nuggets off your kid's plate, or, running through a drive-through because you didn't get to meal plan that day, or whatever it was. And the cycle continues. There is zero room for events, holidays, socializing, I don't know, life in general. Have you ever, the saying, like telling a kid that they can't have something, all of a sudden that's all they want. No cookies before dinner. Now it's all you want. It's a cookie before dinner. It's the same mentality. We're telling ourselves that we're not allowed to have something. Now it's just like, now it's all you can think of. You know what I'm saying? So, that's that cycle. That's what that's what ends up doing. Um, and it's hard. It's almost, I was telling someone, it's almost annoying how much of a mindset that this is, right? Like there's no one cure for everybody, right? Everyone's different. Everybody has different bodies, different shapes, different sizes, different taste. And it's all about mindset. It's allowing yourself to have those little bits and pieces of the things that you love so that you're not saying, oh, I can't have it. It's allowing yourself to have it and then teaching yourself how to not overdo it. So I know for me personally, I love sweets, right? I do. I love sweets. I try not to eat them too much, but like I remember, sitting in the back room at Starbucks and we would get donuts and I would be like, I'm going to eat half a donut. I did not just eat half a donut. I ate a full donut and I would feel so gross about it. Again, for no reason whatsoever. I would just feel gross about it. And did that stop me from eating a donut the next day? Nope, because I went right back and ate it until I realized, I don't eat donuts all the time. No, I don't. When I was working there, I wasn't like drinking Frappuccinos every single day. One, they're just too heavy I don't like them. But sorry guys. Sorry to my Frappuccino lovers. But I don't indulge like that often. So when I do, I just allow it now. I just say, okay, I'm going to have this donut. I'm going to enjoy it. I want to make sure it's good. And then I move on. And it has been something that I keep having to give myself small talks over and over and over again to make sure that I enjoy the things that I enjoy and I don't feel so guilty about them. So with that information, what do we do now, right? So you're saying, Tammy, dieting doesn't work, but I want to lose that weight, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. I want to be able to run a 10K or hang out with my kids without my knees hurting and stuff like that. So what do I do? What would dieting look like without restrictions? So first off, I do want to say this, restrictions is in quotation marks, because depending on how your body reacts to certain foods, you may have to restrict things. So there are certain restrictions that are okay. So for example, I don't eat meat, not because I think it's going to make me fat, not because I think that it is, again, I'm not a vegan. I have no problem with people eating meat, but because of the way my body feels eating meat. So if you've heard my story, I've struggled with digestive issues since I was in the 7th grade. And it wasn't until I stopped eating meat did I realize that was a good chunk of it. My body doesn't process it. It gives me really bad heartburn. It makes me feel sick. And so I'm not going to eat it, which is why I restrict meat from my diet. Now that I've not eaten meat in a year and a half or so, now I have to be very careful about meat touching, right? Because after a while, your body does stop making those enzymes to like break down the food. And so if something does have some sort of meat product in it, it will make me like violently ill. So now I'm very like cautious about what I eat because of that reasoning, but it came from a good place, right? I am not on medication because I control my acid reflux. I control my Barrett's esophagus and my GERD with food. I make sure I know how I'm eating, right? But meat can be totally fine for you, which is why you should have it in your diet, right? But what does dieting look like without those restrictions? It's eating what your body wants and what your body needs. If I'm sick, if I'm having if I have the flu or whatever, my body craves carbs. I need comfort food and I need carbohydrates because I'm weak. Carbohydrates are an energy source. And so I make sure to eat carbs. I don't beat myself up if I'm like, I'm going to eat, a potato 3 times a day, right? Like, just an example. Because that's what my body needs, dieting without restrictions, making a few simple swaps, right? Maybe you don't eat fried chicken that day. Maybe you eat grilled chicken with your French fries, a grilled chicken sandwich with a French fry. Or maybe, what I would do when I would eat meat is I wouldn't eat the bun with the bread, or on the burger, I'm sorry. Because one made me very full and I wanted to have my French fries. So I would just eat the French fries with the bread or with no bread on the burger. And I felt fine with that. It wasn't stuffing myself. It was listening to what my body wanted and how my body felt. Was I really hungry, or am I just kind of being emotional? Am I stressed out? Am I full? If I'm full, stop eating. I'm sure most of you are going to shake your head yes to this one when it's like, you need to clean your plate. I totally grew up in the you need to clean your plate. And I did, and I still do. It kills me to leave food on my plate. Absolutely kills me. And so I make sure that I clean my plate. It doesn't matter how full I am. And so now it's something that I'm very mindful of. How am I feeling, right? Am I overeating? Why am I overeating? Is it just because it tastes good? Put it in the refrigerator. Take it home. Even if it's this much, take it home. Eat it later. There's no problem with that. It's allowing yourself those foods that you enjoy, but maybe on a smaller portion. We have supersized everything here. And so, do you really need a large fry with the gallon? Oh my God, the sodas they give now, a gallon size soda. That's a small. And I'm like, I can't even remember. Like, that's crazy. I found like if I had to run through a drive-through, what did I eat? A kid's meal. Because it was a smaller portion, it was exactly what I needed. So it's understanding like what your body needs and how much it needs. So that's what the general outline of like dieting without restrictions would look like. It's mindset. It's listening to your body and understanding this is what I need and this is how I feel. So it's crazy. So this morning I was on TikTok and I saw this video. A gentleman named Karomo Brown has a show and he had these 2 guests on. And this guy was coming at this lady about body positivity. And he was fat shaming her. And he had made a comment about, oh, what, you just give your kids honey buns and that's called love? Like that's body positivity. That's not what it means. And the way she said it was so dead on that I had to just share it with you guys on this slide as well. So she had said, it's body positivity is loving yourself where you are in life, and what you do not like about yourself, you take the steps to work on it. So I have been studying a lot on intuitive eating, which is the basics of, trying to help yourself understand your body and listening to it. I'm not an intuitive eater though. I've taken their quiz and I'm definitely an emotional eater, and I'm definitely not someone I'm definitely someone who has to work very hard on learning myself, learning what I need, learning what to do, because those voices of guilt, they pop up all the time. I don't know if they'll ever go away, but it's listening and understanding like they aren't there. So what do we do, right? When you aren't really an intuitive eater, but you want to get out of that cycle, that's where all this stuff kind of comes into play, right? So right now, there's this huge movement on being body positive, health at any size, right? Just because you are a certain BMI doesn't make you overweight. Now, is there proof that people in larger bodies can have health problems? Absolutely. But that also can happen to people who are in smaller bodies. According to the BMI chart, I'm overweight. Actually, I'm borderline obese according to the BMI chart. And when I first saw that, like, it made me feel a certain way, like, that's terrible. Like, how did I get this way? But then if you look at me, I don't look obese the way people would say, you know? And so it was a lot of trying to get out of that mindset. Um, but there are things that we can do to make ourselves feel better about the things we may not like about ourselves, that in turn can help us get off the diabetic medications. Maybe, heart disease runs in your family and you don't want to be a victim to that. It's, again, it's finding that energy to run around with your kids without the extra weight on your joints and your knees. It's finding the movement that you enjoy to keep you having fun and just wanting to keep at it. That's what this is about. So this time to start is like perfect, because we're in this stage where people are much more accepting than what they used to be. And I think that that's really great. So we talked a little bit earlier about diet culture, right? And how, when I was a kid, it was, very much the skinny was what you wanted to be. And I mean, I hated every little inch of my, like, oh, look at my butt, it's not round enough, or it's, oh, look, there's cellulite. I stopped wearing shorts a long time ago. I actually didn't start wearing shorts again until this year. And, I live in Vegas. It's 120 degrees, like pretty much 9 months out of the year, right? Like sometimes you want to wear shorts. And, I was so critical of how I looked and how I felt that I didn't wear them. I just suffered in jeans. And so, how do we get out of that? I have a 20-year reunion coming up, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I got to lose 10 pounds before my 20-year reunion. Again, those thoughts still pop up in my mind, So what do we need to do in order to get away from those things? There's a couple of things we could do. My dog's about to join us, guys. She wants to say hello. This is Molly, for you guys who don't know. Hi, Molly. Thank you for joining us. So, one of the first things that you can do to kind of help you get out of the diet culture mindset is to clean up your social media. We kind of start following these people, and after a while we start to really like judge ourselves based on what these other people might look like, might sound like. You have people on here who look a certain way and they're like, oh yeah, I take this and it gives me abs, I don't know, stupid stuff like that. First off, it's not true. 9 times out of 10, they're influencers. Ever since I launched, I've started using certain hashtags for wellness. I get constant emails and messages. Oh, you would be a great influencer for our brand. It's, this diet tea, you should drink it every day, and blah blah blah. Like, these people get paid to sell this stuff, right? So don't listen to them. So if you find yourself following people that start promoting like, oh, I lost 20 pounds in 10 days, you could too, get rid of them, unfollow, because they push this ideology that's not true, and it's dangerous. Whatever they're doing to lose 20 pounds in 10 days, not good. I think last I saw, the healthiest way to lose weight, 1 to 2 pounds a week. You want to do it slow, right? So 1 to 2 pounds a week is a fantastic goal to try and lose weight at, not 20 pounds in 10 days. That's insanity to me. Another thing you can do, get rid of your scale. If you're so obsessed with the number and that's all you focus on, get rid of it. Because first off, muscle weighs more than fat. That's given. And so if you are constantly weighing yourself and you find that after, 3 weeks of lifting weights, you've gained a pound, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, the diet's not working. I have to restrict more, right? It's that mindset thing again, right? It's just a number. It's all based on how you feel. There's a girl I follow on Instagram who she talks about her journey, about how she was 115 pounds and she was trying to lose weight and she was exercising to do that. She was very skinny. She's now 160 pounds and looks amazing, absolutely amazing. And she talks about how, like, back then she used to freak out if she was over 115 pounds, but she looked sick. She looked terrible. And now she's 160 pounds and she's like she looks great. She looks absolutely great because 160 is just a number. I don't know how tall she is. I don't know how all of that works, right? But she's confident, she's strong. And I think that that's amazing, for the longest time. I mean, full disclosure, I'm probably at the heaviest I've ever been. And it's really hard for me not to take a look at that number and have a mini panic attack. But I also realized that, I have hips, I have, like I have a butt and that's going to weigh. I do have some muscle hidden in here. I used to have bigger muscles, but that's there. I work all the time and I'm on my feet and I'm moving and I'm doing all the things. That's just a number. How do I feel? How do my clothes feel? I think that's the biggest thing, is how do your clothes feel? If your clothes feel tight, okay. If your clothes feel good on you and your scale number hasn't moved, perfect. Your weight's going to fluctuate throughout your whole day. And so if you're sitting there focusing on like, well, this morning I weighed, 135 pounds and now I weigh 140 pounds. Well, that's how it goes. That's what your day does. People are like, oh, when you weigh yourself, make sure you weigh yourself first thing in the morning after you've gone to the bathroom. Like that's really going to make a difference. They do that because it's like the first thing in the morning, that's when you're going to weigh less, right? And it doesn't, again, doesn't freak you out so much because you weigh less. Molly, you're getting a mouth. Yeah. I don't know what she's doing. The biggest thing that you can do to get out of that diet culture mindset is to be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And, I mean that like fiercely. You want to start this journey. You want to start this lifestyle, right? Trying to be healthier, whether it's because you want to lose weight or just be healthy, maybe you have something in your family that you don't want to have. Be kind to yourself. This is going to be hard. You're going to have to give up a lot of things, well, I shouldn't say that. When I mean by giving up a lot of things, it's not your food, it's that idea, the idea of I have to weigh a certain way. I have to look a certain way. I can't wear this if I look like this. Getting out of that mindset is hard, and giving up that mentality is rough, and it's going to pop up every once in a while. And you're going to have to be your biggest coach and tell yourself, no, absolutely not. When I sat there and said, wow, I have a reunion coming up. Ooh, sorry. I have a reunion coming up. I have to lose 10 pounds. Like I had to sit that for a second and go, okay, but look at what you've done. Look at where you've already come from. I'm not on the floor cramping with, my, GERD, right? My acid reflux would put me on the ground. I ate Tums like they were candy. I should have put stock in Tums, to be honest, how much I took. Be kind to yourself. This is a slow process, and it's so, so, so good. It's so good. It's worth it. It's worth the wait. So what we promote here, oh, there's Molly's butt now. She's stepping on my cord. So what I promote here is called health happiness, right? I did a post on it on Instagram, but I'm going to remind you guys what it looks like, right? So health happiness is you not focusing on diet, but on eating the food you actually like when you're actually hungry. I am building a workbook right now where, it has a scale. It's called mindful eating. And it's a scale of like, are you actually hungry? Like right now, I can tell you I'm getting hungry. I'm probably around a 3 to 4 on this scale of 1 to 10, which means now it's time for me to eat. I'm not bored. I'm not stressed out. I'm not being emotional or whatever you want to call it. So it's when you're actually hungry, eat your food. Excuse me. Your food choices are based on what your body needs and what works for you. So again, my body does not process meat, just doesn't. And so I decide, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I do not need meat. I have other options. It's never restricting. It's never saying I cannot have this unless it has something to do with you medically, like mine does. It's not about restricting. It's understanding there can be a timing to it. There can be a portion to it. There can be, all sorts of things to it, but it's never cutting it out cold turkey. I'm never allowed to have rice again. Some of the biggest communities eat rice and they're fine. So why are we cutting out rice? Pasta. Oh, don't cut out pasta. Please don't cut out pasta. I would die. And then it's finding the freedom of loving yourself as is. Like we said about the body positivity. It's setting those realistic goals that are health focused, not weight focused. It's all about how do we do this to make myself feel better, more energy, more freedom, more, just again, energy. Like I can't stress that one enough. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm tired, like my whole day is ruined and you're constantly tired. How do you get anything done? So it's finding that what does your body need to be healthy, not focusing on that weight and that number. So that is my very basic crash course into why dieting sucks, why it's the worst, and what we can do to kind of get out of that mindset, right? So I am going to take a look at the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in. Again, if you're watching over the replay, by all means, throw it in the comments because I will be checking that often. While I wait to see if anyone has any questions, what can you do now, right? So you're like, okay, Tammy, you've given me all this information. What the hell am I supposed to do with it? Okay. So here's what you can do. Simply follow me, right? I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on, where else am I on? Oh, YouTube, Pinterest, you name it, I'm on it. I just put the top 2 right here, right? Follow me for more tips, right? So I post videos on cooking classes. I post information on, different dieting tricks and stuff like that. Or DM me, email me, reach out, join the Facebook group if you're not on there, and let's have a conversation. What can we do? For me, I specialize in meal planning, right? I find that meal planning is one of the best things you can do for any health journey, because once you get into that pattern and you start getting into that feel for things, it's easier to make those choices, right? You're coming off of like a very restrictive diet. I don't know about you. I know for me, coming off restrictive diets, what do you eat? What do you do? How do you do this? And so my biggest specialty is I can help you get off that, right? I can help you set up that plan. What can you start eating now to make you feel better, right? So yeah, reach out. If you guys are watching this, excuse me, I am putting up I'm going to give you guys a secret word. And if you DM me before, let's see, what is today? The 27th? Let's give it a week, right? So by next Tuesday, if you guys DM me and you want to set up a program with me, every program is personalized for what you personally need. If you want to lose weight, I can help you with that, to do it in a very safe, healthy, and sustainable way. If you want to, get more information on certain kinds of, maybe you suffer from digestive issues too. Well, what did you do, Tammy? Information on supplements, information on, anything really. I'm very personalized when it comes to your plan. That's why there's no prices on any of my things. Everything is based on what you need, right? And so if you guys give me, let's see what my special word might be. I think we're gonna do Molly, just because she's here. She's now sleeping behind me. She made a guest star appearance. So if you give me the word Molly in a DM, you will get 10% off whatever your program is, whatever we set up for you, and we give you 10% off. So feel free to share this, tag people. Maybe you feel great, which I'm so happy for, but maybe you have someone who doesn't. Maybe you have someone who is, just always trying to lose weight, and they're always on a diet, and they're always whatever. Send them my way. Have them join the Facebook group. I think that's it, guys. I hope that I gave you guys a little bit of information today that maybe you didn't know. And I hope that I provided you with, that education that I think we all need. Anyway, take care of yourselves. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to hear more from you. All right. Y'all have a great day. Thanks.